How's it going, guys? So today I'm doing something a little bit different. As you can tell from a lot of my videos, I mentioned that I am in fact a vegan. And I'm a pretty new one at that. I've been vegan for about 4 months, a little bit over 4 months now, maybe close to 5 months. I'm not really paying that much attention. The decision was made overnight, but it did take a lot of steps to get to that decision. So you guys seen how passionate I am about technology, how passionate I am about like Motorola, and also about other companies that I love when companies are changing things. I love change. I don't like things staying the same. I embrace it, And I also love value. I also love what's best overall. If one company is doing something that's going to benefit the others, I'm all for it. If one company is slowing things down, of course I'm always against that. And I'm passionate about other things in life as well. And of course, the most important thing in life is your well-being, your health. That's what's important. If you're not in good shape, if you're not eating well and things like that, it doesn't matter what else you do. You can't do what you love if you aren't at your best. So you have to be at your best to be able to help, to just be able to be you, to be able to fulfill your purpose. So I'm gonna talk about why I became a vegan. Like most people, I fought with depression, and it got to the point where I finally decided that I needed some help, so I got help. Luckily, I didn't have to go far. I spoke with my uncle. He is amazing. He taught me so much. And after speaking to him, I fell in love with love. I learned how powerful love is, and I learned that I had to love myself and to also not expect love from others. But even though I'm not getting it from others, I can still show them love. So I wanted to show the world my love. I wanted to show the world that I care, even if they don't see it. So I actually started really small. My first decision was to start really small. I started small by saying that, you know what, I'm no longer going to litter. No matter what, I'm just not gonna litter. If I have trash, I'm gonna keep it until I can throw it in the trash can. I'm not gonna throw it in the street, throw it in the park, or anything like that. I mean, that's a small thing, but that's a big thing. Can you imagine how many people litter and what it does to the world? So I started with that, and I also started with the fact that I'm gonna ask myself every time if something's about to happen, whatever decision, I gotta make a decision, and the decision I make has to be good. So, kind of like you hear people say, always ask, what would Jesus do? Essentially, that's what I did. I tried to do my best every day to make good decisions, to not harm anybody. So I kept that up, and then, of course, I love fitness. I was always working out. I was a skinny dude. You should have seen me 6 years ago. I was so skinny. You would never think that I would actually be able to, get this big. I didn't think I really could get this big. I started lifting. I never knew it would get to this point. But I'm always trying to learn, and I was on YouTube, and one of the channels that I started to follow a lot was the Hodge twins. Very, very popular channel. These guys are funny. They're funny dudes. But they got some messed up information, If you go on their channel, they have videos where they literally just eat thousands and thousands of calories of junk food, and they talk about how it doesn't matter where the calories come from. They just make sure they get the same amount of calories per day, no matter where it comes from. So they're eating they're eating like Dairy Queens, they're eating Taco Bell, Popeyes, ribs, they're eating all that nonsense. And then they look good, they're most likely probably on drugs, but, on steroids. But they look good, and they're telling people to eat as much as you want, no matter what. It comes from just get 2,500 calories or whatever it is, that's what they said. And then you would look good. I can show you some pictures of what I looked like after following that advice. I fell for it, I'm not gonna lie, I fell for it. And after that, I was just like, no, there's no way, this can't be it. So I started doing more research on how to be healthy. So after that, I started eating less fatty foods. I was more health conscious, and then I ended up watching this movie called Fed Up. Now this movie is mainly about like sugar and processed foods, and it kind of led me to just watching what I eat more, and it also led me to questioning things because they start off with saying that more than 80% of the foods in the grocery stores have added sugar to it. The fact that I never thought about my sugar intake. When I'm looking at groceries, when I'm buying things at a store, you look at the sugar there's no percentage. Everything else is a percentage, but it never tells you how much percentage of sugar. So no one watches their sugar intake, and it amazed me to how I overthought that. I never actually thought about that. So that led me to doing more and more research. Just I started looking at everything I was eating. I was always on YouTube watching videos, reading articles online, and I just kept questioning and questioning things, you know. And I also was talking to people and seeing what their habits were like, and I was really realizing that a lot of people are addicted to sugar, and the fact that all foods are really, really bad. So there has to be some way to stay away from all that food. And then through all that research, I ran into this guy called Vegan Gains on YouTube. He has a lot of haters, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, having haters is a good thing in my book. And I mean, he has so many haters. He goes after a lot of popular YouTube channels and puts them on the spot and calls them out on a lot of things. And a lot of people are gonna disagree. That's fine, but you know. And sometimes his videos can be a little dramatic, but it's all satirical. It's all for fun. So that's his method. You know, he has a lot of good points. And I watched a lot of his videos, and all of a sudden things started clicking. Things that like my environmentalist teacher told me, you know, when I took her class a couple of years ago, she talked about like the slaughterhouses, she talked about the environment, things like that. And while I was in that class, I actually cared, but when I left that class, forgot all about it. But they all came back, and I was like, yeah, I just realized throughout my whole life, I would hear about these things, hear about the slaughterhouses, hear about all that, but then it never really clicked. I just went back to my life, went back to eating junk food. And I was not always a health conscious guy. When I used to work at Walmart, I used to literally every day for lunch, a large Big Mac meal with fries, a large Coke. When I was working at Albertsons, this is a couple of years back, my meal would be a large bag of fried chicken with a large 2-liter of soda, which I would probably finish that day. So I literally was having about a liter of soda per day. Luckily with me, it wasn't showing on the outside, but it was showing on the inside. I went to the doctors. They told me they thought I was lactose intolerant. They had me on like anti-acid pills and everything. Because my stomach was messed up. So that's one thing too. We gotta be careful for the skinny dudes. They think that we have it easy, but we don't always have it easy, because we could be just as bad, if not worse, in shape than you are, but we don't show it. Because we don't show it, we think everything's okay. Next thing you know, we have diabetes or we have hypertension or whatever. But there's something called fat on the inside, or thin on the outside, fat on the inside, TOFI. But yeah, anyways, I'm digressing. So that was pretty much the last piece of the puzzle. After that night, I literally said, you know what, that's it. I have all the information I need, and I'm gonna go vegan. And this was before even I was thinking about the animals, which I just watched the Earthlings movie 2 days ago, and wow, I'm just shocked at what they were showing. That movie literally made me cry about 5-6 times. And I don't know, if you can watch that movie and still eat animal products, then I don't really know what to say. You know, I'm gonna tell you the one moment, one scene from there. A guy was walking down the street, finds a stray dog, takes the stray dog to a garbage truck, right? Puts the dog inside the garbage truck and just watches the dog get crushed. I mean, it's a stray dog, you know, they're everywhere because we don't spay or neuter our pets. Their dogs are bred like crazy just so people can make money off of them, and then this guy just throws one in the back of a dumpster like it's nothing. And I had to pause that movie, and I had to just, like, I couldn't breathe. I was just shocked at what I just saw, what I just witnessed. And that's just one part of the movie, you know. There's plenty more to go. So that's essentially why I went vegan. So the top 3 reasons why most people go vegan. It's about the environment, it's about the animals, and of course about our health. You know, it's 2015. There is plenty of evidence how bad these animal products are for our health. But of course they're gonna fight that because that's how they make their money. So I'll definitely be talking more about that. But I just wanted you guys to know why I went vegan. So if you wanna, the main movies that I saw, if you don't feel like doing a lot of research, I would say check out these 3 movies, especially if you're trying to, fix your health, trying to be more active and everything like that. You want to be in a better state of mind. The first one is Fed Up. That one's about sugar, about processed foods. Definitely very, very good movie. And so these movies are only about an hour and 35 minutes long, so they're not long. So Fed Up is the first one. And then Forks Over Knives I didn't talk about, but that is an awesome movie as well. And one of the scientists that this movie is based on, I mean, he grew up on a dairy farm. That's what that was the family business. They were making milk. Milk was thought as the perfect food for a lot of people, and it turns out it isn't. And this is what his family grew up doing. So he actually his career ended up going against what his family had done, going against what he was brought up, which is hard to do. And then the third movie was about Earthlings. That one is very, very gritty. The first 2 movies you can find on Netflix. The third one I found on YouTube. It's at 480p, so it's not HD, but it's still, I would still recommend you watch it. Those are the 3 movies that I would say would definitely get your mind into thinking more about what you're eating. And then, of course, on this channel, I love to talk, I love to discuss things. So my thing is I'm going to keep going to the gym as a vegan. I've been a vegan for 4 months now. When you think about vegans, you think of like they're skinny, a lot of people think they're malnourished. Even if you're a skinny vegan, you're not malnourished, It's just the foods that you eat are just not as fattening. So my goal is on this channel, as well as with my tech news, I'm gonna talk about health, fitness, and what it's like, being not a bodybuilder, because I don't believe in that nonsense. Just gonna show you how I take care of myself and how important, the fitness part is definitely important, but of course the nutrition part, so eating right. And so you guys can get this too. It's not very hard. I work out probably about 4 times a week, if that, sometimes less, about an hour to an hour and a half. I mainly lift weights. I hate cardio, but I will start doing some as well. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Any vegan questions, definitely ask them. Any tech questions, ask them, and I'll get to them. See you guys in the next one.